All right, guys, we're just a couple of days before Halloween 2022, and today I'm going to talk about a band that I'm just absolutely convinced is cursed. And if you're used to watching my videos, you know I'm normally sitting on my couch, comfortable, and the fact that I'm not is more proof that this band is cursed, because I broke the tripod that holds my phone when I shoot these things. So even now in 2022, it's like there's a mysterious cursed power that's trying to prevent me from doing this video and talking about this band. But I'm convinced this band is cursed and this record is cursed. And today we're going to talk about this cursed band with this cursed record. And I'm going to prove that this is cursed. The tripod breaking is only the beginning of the tragedies involved here. Be right back. So the band today is a band from the 80s. Band that was started by a guitarist from Motorhead and a bassist from UFO. One with the nickname Fast and the other with the last name Way. And the band was called Fastway. And they were cursed from the start. Apparently from the beginning, Way couldn't get out of his recording contract, but then he could go play with Ozzy. So right after the band started in 1982, he leaves with half of his name still on the band to go play with Ozzy. A couple years go by, they put out a couple of releases. Nothing really happens. Doesn't really get any real recognition. The band just kind of flounders a bit. And 1986 comes along, and they picked up a deal to do the soundtrack for a movie called Trick or Treat. And Trick or Treat did not do so well in the theaters, but the soundtrack did fine. So I know what you're thinking. Okay, they can't be that cursed. They did okay with the movie soundtrack, right? Wrong. What happened when the movie soundtrack did well was the band started fighting within themselves. And it kind of fell apart and lingered and limped for a couple of years and was reformed with a little bit different lineup. But never really saw commercial success again. But it's kind of humorous that the soundtrack did better than the film did. But the film had a couple of cameos in it. Gene Simmons from Kiss plays a radio DJ called Nuke, and Ozzy plays a preacher. And if you're around through the 80s to remember the PMRC debacle and the censorship movement, this movie is kind of touching on that. And the character that Ozzy plays, He's a preacher, and he is complaining about rock and roll music being sinful and suggestive and evil, and it's hilarious to watch Ozzy say this stuff because he was the primary target above everybody else. There's a reason he refers to himself as the Prince of Darkness now. He's in the movie, and Gene is in the movie. But the premise of the movie is that there's a band fronted by a guy named Sammy Kerr, and Sammy is trying to play a show in his home high school, and he's refused by the people that have objections to the lyrics of his music and the content, and he's blocked from playing the high school. Well, while he's trying to fight to get to play the high school, and a lot of the kids at the high school want him to play the school, he dies. Hotel fire, burns up alive, dead. Well, a kid at the school ends up with an unreleased record of Sammy Kerr's music, which the record is Fastway, but the record is cursed. And when he plays it, Sammy Kerr comes back through the electrical connections and kills, intending to take his revenge. So Sammy Kerr is not the hero, he's the villain. So Gene's character, Nuke, gives the kid the record, and that's where it all starts. The kid goes and plays the record, and people start dying, and Sammy Kerr comes back to take his revenge. That's Sammy Kerr. Right there, Sammy Kerr. That's the character from the movie. So what they have done is they've reissued the soundtrack. This is the original 1986 soundtrack, repressed for the first time ever. And this one's pressed on Hellfire Vinyl Edition, limited to 2,000 copies. Keep in mind, I just said this record is cursed. So the movie is about a cursed record that's haunted by Sammy Kerr. And the actual soundtrack record caused a lot of fighting within the band. And when I started to record this video, what happened? I broke a piece of equipment that I need to stabilize my camera while I record. It's definitely cursed. The band was absolutely cursed. I'm convinced of this. There's no changing my mind. So with that said, we're about 6.5 minutes in. I'm just going to show you guys some pictures of this cursed record, and I'm going to call it done. And I might play it and see if Sammy jumps out of my speakers. They're Bluetooth, though. They're not hardline, so it might not work for him. We'll see how this goes. If you've never seen it, check out the movie. It's called Trick or Treats from 1986. Not Trick or Treat. That's a whole different thing. I have no idea what that is. I've never watched it because it's too close to this. But it'll give you a good snapshot of the climate of the music industry in the 1980s with the censorship movement, which was fronted by Al Gore before he was vice president, and his wife Tipper. So yeah, it was pretty nasty. And you know, there was a lot of people that went to court to fight for freedom of speech to be able to record. And had they not done that, a lot of the music that's popular now may not have ever happened. Let's get on to the photos. I'll show you guys what this looks like. Jumping right in, guys, this is the front cover of the reissue, and it does have a hype sticker advertising that it is the first ever vinyl reissue of the soundtrack. The back cover, accurate to the original. From what I can remember, it's been a long time since I've seen it. The picture of Gene Simmons there with the cowboy hat and Mr. Clean Cut Ozzy the Preacher is hilarious. Not much else on pictures here. This is a red and orange kind of splatter swirl with the vinyl. Hard to tell by the video, but that's what the record actually looks like. Happy Halloween, guys. We got one more video coming to you, and I'm going to drop that one on Halloween night. And I'm not going to tell you yet what it is. Just know that it's really awesome. I had to wait a little while for it to show up. It's a new release that I had to wait for from Europe, and it showed up just a few days ago. I've got my hands on it now. I'm going to run that one Halloween day and upload it Halloween night for all of you to check out. And it's absolutely the creepiest out of everything that I've gotten for these Halloween segments this year. And for now, that's all I got on this Fastway record. It's unfortunate they didn't do anything with an inner sleeve or any kind of poster or anything with it. It could have been a great opportunity to do some kind of expanded packaging with it, but it does just have a plain white paper sleeve. And as far as I can remember, the first time I ever saw this, my friend Richie actually is the one that told me about it years ago. I was probably about 14 or 15 years old when I was first exposed to this. He might watch this. If he does, hopefully he'll comment and crack up laughing. But I don't think it had anything with the sleeve then either. I've owned this before on vinyl, and I know my other vinyl copy didn't. And the CD doesn't really have much either. I do still own a copy of this on CD. But until next time, guys, we got more coming your way. I've got a lot of records to talk about outside of the Halloween stuff, and I have been stockpiling for months. But if you like what we do, these videos are not monetized. Our coffee sales pay for this. So if you want to take a look at what we offer, the website is concafesc.com. If you're in the Gaffney or Spartanburg areas of the upstate of South Carolina, we'll deliver it right to you. Just order online. We'll bring it on out. And if you're not, we'll be glad to mail it to you. But that's what pays to do all of these, is what feeds my vinyl addiction. So until next time, guys, take it easy. Happy Halloween. We'll be back in just a few days.